Well, good morning, everybody, and thank you so much for tuning on in to our Valley News Now desk this morning. We're looking at a pretty crisp fall-like morning out there. A little chilly for any kids who are heading out to the bus stop. And we're going to talk a little bit more about students heading back to school in just a moment. But again, thank you so much for joining us here on our Valley News Now desk. My name is Alex Larson. So we're going to kick things off talking about what's going on outside, okay? I'm going to share my screen with you, and we're going to hop on over to the Valley News Live homepage. We're going to head on over to the weather tab here. Fall-like Monday and a late August warm-up, staying relatively dry until rain chances return Labor Day weekend. So right now, again, Fargo, we're sitting at 43 degrees this morning. Ouch. You got a kid heading out to the bus stop. If they haven't left already, make sure they got a sweater or a jacket on, something. We're going to be pretty sunny, partly cloudy, only hop up to 90 today. But check this out. Summer weather is going to return as we head on into the rest of the week. 80s by Wednesday and Thursday. And Labor Day weekend not looking too bad. 77 on Saturday, 78 Sunday, Friday 76, and Monday on Labor Day, we're looking at a high of 76 degrees. So as long as we can get through today, this kind of backwash of the weather we've been having this weekend, we've got some more beautiful temperatures that are coming our way. I want to move on to our news portion of this segment, where I'm going to talk more about healthy sleep schedules for your students returning back to school. Well, during the summertime, kids may often form the habit of going to bed later, as well as getting up at a later time. But when it comes to going back to school, a healthy sleep schedule is so important for kids to be able to retain that information that they learn in the classroom. So Sanford Health recommends that students turn off cell phones or devices well before their designated bedtime, avoid a big meal before going to sleep, create a calm and soothing sleep environment, and establish a healthy pre-bedtime routine.
Which includes consistent bedtime, same wake-up time, no naps, no blue light before you go to bed. That's where the homework comes. So we prefer there is no blue light at least 1 hour before they go to bed, if not at least 30 minutes before they go to bed.
So it's also advised to not use the bed for anything and everything, like doing homework on it, watching TV, or eating food. Just keep it there to go to bed.
If you go there, stay there for about 15 hours in a 24-hour period, you do homework, you watch TV, you do everything, then your brain does not get associated to the bed to sleep.
And Dr. Setti says the most important aspect is to be consistent with sleep schedule. And if a parent notices a consistent trend in their kid having a hard time falling asleep, it's best to have them checked out by a professional. And folks gathering in Fargo yesterday afternoon to show support for Ukraine on the country's Independence Day. They were located at the overpass just over exit 351, and Valley News Team's Harrison Frey was there and caught up with them and has more. Let's take a listen.
On a bridge in Fargo,
the amount of honks that we get is amazing.
People are showing support for Ukraine.
I mean, we do see, of course, the occasional middle finger.
Even with separate reactions, those out on the bridge are there for one thing.
I just think it's really important to support Ukraine. They deserve to have peace in their country. They deserve their sovereignty.
On Sunday, Vice President J.D. Vance was on Meet the Press discussing the war.
This is a war, and this is why we want to stop the killing. The Russians have done a lot of things that we don't like. A lot of civilians have died. We've condemned that stuff from the get-go, and frankly, President Trump has done more to apply pressure and to apply economic leverage to the Russians.
Vance's interview comes after Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky visited the White House to meet with President Donald Trump with hopes of trying to find a peace deal with Russia.
They have been very affected by the war. I work with some Ukrainians at NDSU, sorry.
Erickson and Fink are hoping that the war comes to an end soon.
I think it's going to take a lot of public pressure, and so the more people that can rally around Ukraine, the better.
In Fargo, Harrison Frey, Valley News Live.
So a meeting with President Trump, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, and Russian President Vladimir Putin has not yet been scheduled. Over at NDSU over the weekend, what you missed, students returning to campus for move-in day. Thousands moving into their residence halls for the start of a brand new school year.
We have a significant number of student volunteers that are upperclassmen that remember what it was like, and so they show up, we give them some treats, give them a t-shirt and some pizza afterwards, and it's amazing how much work they'll do in 5 hours.
So students start class today if they have a class at 4 p.m. or later. If not, they'll start class up at regular times. That'll be tomorrow. And the DNC vice chair was in North Dakota over the weekend, meeting with North Dakota members. He attended an event just outside Grand Forks on Friday, hosted by Northern Valley Democrats. Then on Saturday, he was in Fargo, and he stopped into Valley News Live to talk to us about what's next for the Democratic Party.
The agenda coming out of Washington right now is one, frankly, that's not just hurting North Dakota families, but it is. If you are a farmer who might watch this later or know somebody who's a farmer, farm equipment right now is going up anywhere from 15% on the low end to 50% on the high end.
So Kenyatta had 2 events in Fargo Saturday. He's now in Minneapolis for the DNC summer meeting. And I got some exciting news in the sports world. A very familiar name is joining the Minnesota Vikings. Valley News Live sports reporter McKenna Wright has more for us.
With the second pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Carson Wentz, quarterback, North Dakota State.
Reports surfaced Saturday night that former NDSU quarterback and 2016 number 2 draft pick Carson Wentz was with the Vikings for a workout ahead of the roster deadline coming up on Tuesday. And then we wake up Sunday morning to reports that the quarterback and the Vikings have agreed to terms, as the Vikings have been struggling to find that perfect QB2 behind J.J. McCarthy. So what does this mean now for Carson Wentz? Well, as of last night, the unofficial depth chart for the Vikings in the quarterback position was as follows: J.J. McCarthy, Sam Howell, Brett Rippon, and Max Brosmer. This morning, we learned that Sam Howell has been traded to the Eagles and Brett Rippon has been released after Wentz and the Vikings agreed to terms. So that means QB2 and 3 have now become available. But just because Wentz has signed with the Vikings doesn't guarantee him a roster spot. However, given what we know about the personnel the Vikings were looking for to be their backup, Wentz fits the bill, bringing 9 years of NFL experience, a Super Bowl ring, and a career total of 98 games played, 22,410 yards, and 153 touchdowns. So if you're going to bet on anyone right now to be QB2, it is going to be Carson Wentz. In other Bison alumni news, current second-string quarterback for the Raiders, Aiden O'Connell, has been ruled out and placed on the injury list for 6 to 8 weeks with a fractured wrist. Coincidentally, that leaves rookie Cam Miller as the only one behind Geno Smith. While Pete Carroll has expressed the need to find a replacement, Cam Miller finds himself in a place of leverage. Fitting in well with the Raiders organization, Miller credits the transition to great coaches now and before.
Not every head coach is like this. Just know that. So I think for me, understanding that we have such a great head coach and everything that he says in meetings obviously means a lot, because he has a lot of wisdom and value in everything that he says. And I've been fortunate enough to have a lot of great head coaches. So to have that transition from a great college coach to the NFL has been an easy transition.
That's all the time we have for sports this morning. Tune in to Valley News Live at 6 and 10 for your local sports and highlights.
And we'll leave you out on a good note there. That's about all I got for you here on this Monday morning. Remember, a little chilly out there. So if you're not dressed to get out to school or work just yet, make sure you put on a sweater, something a little warmer. But we do heat up a little when it comes to midweek. Again, that's all I got for you here on our Valley News Now desk. I will see you back here around 7:30 tomorrow morning. I'll see you then.